Hero Academia. Have you seen the latest chapter?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, that shit was light,
Oh my God,
and it made
all
perfect.
for one,
It
man.
made perfect
All for one.
sense, especially the last scene with Bakugo, because that made complete sense. Because Bakugo would probably like spoilers, whatever. Bakugo would feel defeat if Deku or someone else rescued him, but what is his name? Kimura? I forget his name.
Kirishima?
Yeah, the rock fella. They're like
Yeah,
he's
okay.
like buddies with Bakugo, so he was like a good decision. But All For One came out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh man, last chapter, what does he look like? And then he has like a black skull. I'm like, ah, that's kind of weird, but
Yeah, what's his name? The mangaka Horikoshi. He has some he has some inspiration from Star Wars. I can tell you that because Gran Torino's based off Yoda. He said in an interview.
huh? I see.
And
There's no resemblance, but the influence is the same.
the influence. And I mean, all for one, obviously that's a no-brainer.
Oh man, he just burst out that like random air push, and then he was like, "Oh, I got these several quirks added together with this energy boost." I'm like, "Oh man, this guy is a force to reckon with," and All Might was going out.
What's that, All Might? You only got here in 5 seconds? Oh man, you must be you getting soft, dude.
Real salt. I'd expect better from you, but it's like an insult to me. Oh man, it was a good chapter.
He,
It was.
I don't know. The quality of Boku no Hero fails to diminish as of late.
Has it?
It it's always been good.
You got a very good point there. I don't know. I feel like they're kind of stuck on this chapter and progressing. I'm curious to see how it turns out. Well, I mean, the enemies are the villains are fleeing from the looks of it. I'm probably making
I
no
know the
sense right
vil.
now.
No. I was trying to recollect my thoughts and then going off what you were saying. Um, all for obviously the villains are going to retreat, but it's regarding was it oh god Shigaraki's character. His is going in a very different direction, especially with the influence of All for One has had on him recently and what he's done for him. So while I know you prefer Stain over Shigaraki, I feel like Shigaraki can be developed maybe more than what Stain has already set the stage for the villains as well as the whole Boku no Hero verse itself. Because it feels like Shigaraki will be in game as well as one for not one for all for one will be too, considering that All Might I'm 80% 90% positive he's probably gonna die within the next couple chapters.
Yeah, because it does seem like he has like a red flag triggered over him from the looks
Like
of the
it's
recent
been
events.
it's been that red flag has been waved over him for a while, and this looks like the fight where it's time for him to pass on. It's time for Deku to step in, time to fully develop the one for all quirk and get better with it. And I feel like there's going to be like a time skip in the future because I don't think he's going to fight all for one. Not obviously not now or not in the near future where he maybe develops, but I think it's going to take time for him to fully become a hero, and then there might be like an all-out hero war where everyone gets stronger. Maybe a few villains get defeated before anything time skip wise happens, and then when we finally get down to it, Shigaraki and All for One are going to be um, at their strongest because I think All for One's going to get his full power back maybe soon. Because if he can kick All Might's ass right now, Jesus Christ, he's going to be OP.
Oh yeah, no one stands a chance against him. He seems like a potential villain.
No.
I mean, a time skip would be baffling to me because I'm here thinking maybe it should also focus in around Deku's development in the Hero Academy. But then again, a time skip would be necessary if All Might just pass it on because we need to see what keeps going on for the villain. It's like right now, like I see like how My Hero Academia started with Deku going to school. Okay, he
Hmm.
got in, he got his quirk and all that. Now the villains are now, as you said, staying set the stage for the villains coming in, the villain invasion, the attack, and then now the rescuing. And I'm like, what more can I see within the next chapter? Unless it's gonna be entirely about going against the villains and all that. Like a
I
possibly a
think
foreshadow or
I
something.
probably. I mean, most likely. Well, I know that I still think a time skip's gonna happen. I just don't know how when it should be done because Deku still has some room to develop in character as well as with his quirk too, and with Bakugo too. Bakugo needs to get stronger because I don't think he's gonna become a villain. I'd rather not see him take the Sasuke route, as a lot of people expected him to do, since a lot of people compare this series to Naruto too. I think Bakugo he's gonna be an asshole, but he's still gonna be a good asshole, kind of more like Kaiba. Like we love him, but he's a dick.
Kaiba or Vegeta, where
Like Kaiba or Vegeta, but Bakugo still he's really cool. Like he's still good. It's just like Kaiba and Vegeta, like their pride pretty much laid the foundation of who they were as a character. With Bakugo, he still has room to grow, and that's what I'm hoping. Like he continues to get better because he's amazing right now. He just there's no way for him to get bad unless he gets the mangaka just ruins his character, which he has not done as of late or at all in this series.
he just hasn't put him in the spotlight uh, since
Until
the kidnapping.
right, right, since the kidnapping,
Yeah,
and now that he's back, and I'm glad that they got Kirishima to be the one to do that because I love the way that the author set up how they save Bakugo because they did it within the guidelines of we're not supposed to fight. We can't do that. I made a promise we wouldn't be doing that. And when they had the whole group discussion regarding the situation, and Ida is dead set on Deku not doing crap regarding putting up his fist, and he was able to come up with a solution to doing that. And I love that. That was it was done really well on how they saved Bakugo. And they let this one of the side characters take center stage to save Bakugo, and that was perfect because he has a connection to this character.
Exactly what you said there. That was pretty much what made the last few pages of that chapter me excited because that one character does seem like he's getting the spotlight. So I'm here thinking maybe there is some sort of time skip, but maybe we'll see a little bit more development with other characters having the spotlight that surrounding. Before you may know the time skip may surround all of them returning back as a group. Maybe after like the first year is over, and after all, like you see like a montage of like the training and all that, more stuff happening, and probably like you'll see like a spin-off or two, to telling you like the backstory, like a filler in the anime, but. I know the anime is only going 12 episodes, but there's like a lot of potential, a lot of room, a lot of like expectations I'm having for whatever, how the rest seems to be folding out. Like I'm more curious.
I could.
Go ahead.
No, no, no. Finish. Sorry.
Yeah, like I'm trying to collect all my thoughts into one, but it's like pouring out one at a thought. There's like possibilities because the author is doing a really good job with pretty much giving the characters, the supporting characters, the center of attention for this, which is good because I do like to see, like, since it's all heroes in the whole class. I mean, probably we'll see something come out of it. I mean, All Might does seem like his prime is coming at an end from the looks of the battle against All for One, and maybe he'll have like some final word to say against Deku, who's like the next person holding the torch, like coming after him or whatever. And they probably have like Gran Torino like become his second and like training him or something.
One thing that has been on my mind, and it's regarding Deku and his connection to Shigaraki, because as All Might has been a mentor to Deku, as well as All for One has been a mentor to Shigaraki. While I see All Might dying in any scenario that happens within the next couple chapters, but regarding All for One, either if he lives or survives, if they both kill each other, I could see the mantle being taken up. Because I don't remember if All for One's quirk could be passed on like One for All can. I know All for One can take quirks in, but I don't know if like he could potentially like die and then maybe pass on the quirk to Shigaraki or something like that. But I don't think it would work like that because Shigaraki has his own power, which is pretty OP when we found out about it. But regardless of that idea happening, I think when this fight finishes, it's going to be more build up between Shigaraki, the villain alliance. Like, he's going to be at the head of it, while All for One is going to mentor him. It's going to be him taking center stage, and then Deku taking center stage, obviously because main character, and it's going to be them two versus each other before they even get to All for One.
Yeah, rather than focusing on being just a villain alliance doing the wrong thing, it's like the whole all for one for all. What's the connection between them? What's the backstory to that? And all kind of stuff. Like the teachers are fighting now. You're probably wondering when are the mentor, when are the students gonna fight? Like they're like you said, they're setting them up, and it looks like they're bound to be for me, it looks like Shigaraki and Deku are bound to be longtime rivals because hey, maybe he won't pass it on to Shigaraki. Shigarachi. I forgot how to say the name so
Like,
quickly.
I I don't think
He
he
might
can.
continue the experiments with the
Yeah.
Nobula and all that because
Hmm.
they do seem like they're vessels for All for One to like maybe like experiments to like pass them on, see if All for One or something. But he'll keep that. He'll keep up his teacher's legacy and all that.
It's just in any scenario, All Might's gonna die. It's gonna depend on what happens after that. Like, are we gonna have All for One back off after that, and then be like, oh hey, he just died. I'll let you lament over his passing, and then I'm gonna go build up my forces. I'm gonna give time to recuperate, and then we're gonna have round two either through like long distance time skip or like maybe a few months, weeks time skip before anything happens, or we go back to like just regular school life, slice of life type of deal.
I think it would be a big cliche if All Might dies. It could be like All Might like turns the tide against All for One. Teacher passes away, and then Shigaraki plans like a surprise attack on All Might. He like surprise attack, and then like the stage is set up for them to be rivals since they killed both since both teachers were killed or something like that.
I'm gonna be very shocked if he doesn't die because it just that death flag needs to stop waving at this point.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. Already, I seen it
Like,
last night
god
on
damn it.
Friday, and I'm like, oh man, I got nothing else to read or watch at
Like,
this
oh hey,
point.
Mago saved. Can we get to the fight now, please?
I see. Like, I noticed how the rest of the villains are not given that much screen time or anything. Oh, All for One seems to have like he can force quirks to activate,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought
Because
that was surprising. I'm like,
right,
yo, this is OP as hell.
because he did the weird tendrils thing, stuck them into I think his name's Black Mist, and he like Black Mist is dead. I think that's how he was able to do that, right? Or is Black Mist like near death?
He was passed out.
Okay, so yeah, he was passed out, and he was able to use the quirk regardless. Because that got me thinking. Well, I don't have a theory. I say it got me thinking regarding how he's able to use this quirk.
Because I just remember that within a few seconds ago, I'm like, that could turn the tides against like it would be like as if for example he's going against All Might. He forces his quirk to keep on going before he gets into like his weak state, and then probably like All Might is exposed on the media, whatever, the weak version,
Oh, dude.
and then oh it was really
And that
him,
yeah.
and then probably like a breakdown, and then like
Oh,
society can go against him or whatever, yeah, or something else.
yo, that's actually pretty cool. Like, what if All Might, not All Might, All for One, he kills All Might, and he shows him the true All Might, like who he is, like really, and then like the villain association, like they get their say, and they're showing everybody like the truth, because like kind of like what Stain did or his ideology, except this time they get the full spotlight and expose All Might, depending on how All for One explains who All Might really is as a person, and that he's really bad and he tries to sway the masses and all that, and then they're left to look at, he's going to use the media and look at the heroes and be like, this is the person we look up to, blah blah blah, and something along that nature.
Try to turn
Something
society against them.
turn society, you're correct.
Oh
Turn
man, and not
society
just that,
against
and like
the
having
heroes.
having the biggest symbol of hero being like in a weakened state. In truth, you're like, oh, he's lying to us. He was never
Like
like that. It gets
like
society like shook. So
like
then
look at
people,
this man.
yeah,
This man died for your sin. Well, God, that sounds too religious.
too
Um,
Jesus-y.
yeah, too Jesus-y. This man is a martyr for y'all. So I'm going to expose this martyr for who he really is, and then use the media against him, turn society against all the heroes, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, you can have that. All my passes away. And then you have what's his name, Envidier, take the
And
spotlight,
yeah.
and then he's like, "Oh, look at me! I'm someone who has worked like this. I've always been like
Oh,
this." And
dude.
then
Oh,
Deku gets
Endeavor
over.
would ruin it. Oh, this sounds too good.
Oh
Oh, this
man,
sounds too good.
somebody pin Kohei about this, please. Have you seen his interview?
Is that the one where he's like wearing he's wearing like a mask or something and he's like really goofy but he's like
The
and
gas
everyone's
mask.
enjoying it?
It's
Yeah.
yo. He has
I haven't
he
seen
has
it.
oh man, let me tell you, he has a crap ton of Marvel figures. And I'm like, oh man, this is where dedication comes. I can see so many influences, and
Mhm.
My Hero Academia really does seem to be going well in a comic book, because for example, say something like Attack on Titan got like a Marvel collab. It looks like My Hero
Mhm.
Academia could be on the spotlight for like Marvel to have like a collab or like its own version in the comic books or something.
Like I can't even begin to imagine the potential outcome of what might happen after this fight between All Might and All for One. It's too good the way it sounds and
Yeah,
it could literally happen. And
or
I'm
it
gonna
could
say
or it could
I'm
be the
saying that
exact
now
opposite.
for people to hear, for people that potentially watch this if you're recording this part. Like if that happens, we called that.
I think it's gonna go in another direction, but
Okay.
I mean that does sound like one hell of a way for the story to go down. And then who knows? Maybe it could be like another alliance, but with like the heroes. You'd be like, it doesn't matter who. He was always saving us with a smile. And then you have like the other people who are like, oh no, he's lied to us and all that. And Vidor takes a spotlight. Todoroki's probably in more pain. We bring him back, and maybe I don't know, like new and like for me, I think that's interesting that Invidor would take the spotlight, because then Deku wouldn't have anyone to really look up to, because All Might passed away, and he now is like in charge of like bringing back his legacy to save people. It's not about like the whole media, and then you have someone like Invidor who's I think he's kind of like into the whole media, like he
Endeavor
wants the attention.
All Might is more of a true well Stain, as Stain put it, he sees Deku as more of a hero, and that's the type of hero that Deku looked up to in terms of who All Might was. Endeavor does it more for, I guess, publicity, as
That's
well
the thing.
as yeah,
He does it for
like he
both.
has he has the power to, obviously to back it up. He's very powerful, but his he does it more for the media, and as well as he's trying to with Todoroki, he was trying to create like the perfect heir, the perfect person that can succeed him one day, like a successor, and trying to create the perfect hero instead of creating, having a family that he look and support instead of just being, oh hey, you have my DNA. I don't really care for you unless you're my successor. I really don't honestly care about you unless, you know, you're actually trying to become who I am. Learn from me, or I don't give a shit about you.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, because I feel like they kind of have there has been a separation between father and son, with the whole thing that Todoroki's now learning to be an individual,
Yeah,
having
he wants to be his own hero. You're
his own hero.
exactly
I mean,
right.
maybe the story might be set differently. Maybe Envivor gets in, or Gran Torino jumps in, or someone saves the day, alongside All Might being in a weakened state, or some. Who knows? There's like a lot of potential in this, because when I first was like when I read the end of the chapter, I'm like, where can this possibly go? Because as you said, there's a death flag over him, and there's a bunch of possibilities on how to like wash out All Might and set the stage even more intense to have like the hero society more broken down. I think it would be interesting to see if like the general public kind of like becomes disloyal because first you have like Stain giving the message that heroes are now going for publicity and fame rather than being actual heroes, and with All Might being taken down, it's something like back up Stain's statement of what he said, and then people are like, "Oh, there's no more heroes," blah 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 blah. They'll depend less on heroes, whatever. And I guess with like having such attention, like the government would be less helpful to like the heroes, and then the heroes who are just doing it for fame, like go on, and then heroes might be a dying thing. Who knows, you know?